Well, another weekend, or shall I say week, coming to a close. I've been up here since Tuesday night. I did have to go home yesterday for a memorial for a good friend of mine's son who passed away at 34. But anyways, another close, though I'm going to continue working. It's still morning. I'm a little congested as I'm cutting these shrubs. I really need a mask on, but very, well, it hinders you as you're in the brush. But I thought I would do this video to show you just what's entailed. So you can see here my brush pile. This was plowed or bulldozed at one time, but you can see the new that I've dropped here all the way across here. You can see the green starting to wilt here and all the way over to around the other side. But before I continue with that, I just want to say that here, let me back up here. I've kept what I called a wild field of flowers, or a field of wildflowers, I should say, which is straight ahead. And I have not mowed them in the respect for honeybees. I know my neighbor over the hill has beehives, but I'm just saying it that I'm going to walk up there, that as I mowed this property, I see no honeybees. I mean, there's plenty of flowers. The daisies, which are here, which have been plentiful. I don't know if bees get pollen out of them, but all of the clover flowers, the yellow flowers, there's a different kind of yellow flower up here. Here's your daisies. These, well, that's a daisy. That's the remnant of a daisy. But you can see all of the flowers here. It really is beautiful. But the problem is, there's no honeybees. There is the black and yellow bees, but no small, half-inch long honeybees that I would call a bumblebee at one time. You know, in the 60s, they were all over everybody's front yard, and every 2 feet you walk, there was a honeybee sucking on the plants. But so I left this here out of respect for them, to give them some food. But I will continue to do it. But so far, really no honeybees, and which should be alarming to all of us. So, getting back to my pile, you can see it starts over there. The new pile that I've brought all the way across here. It was 2 days worth of work. Well, not really. 2 days worth of work for a 65-year-old guy. And a total of, I think, 8 hours. So what I do is, I've got a little setup here. That's a pile. Maybe that's a little too small. But what I do is I cut them from the other side of the wall, throw them over, and when I'm ready, I grab the tarp, I crimple it up so I can grab it with one hand, sit on the lawnmower, and drag it down. Now I'm a little closer now where I can do it by hand, but I'll still probably use that process. But from up there, it saves a little bit of time, and climbing this hill doesn't look that hilly, but I'm probably level now, and you can see how the incline is. But it's very taxing and time consuming. Here are my main tool here, which I believe they're called a bypass or a lopper style, and you can see the hook nose on it. They're made by a company called Corona, and actually not Corona, Coron, Corona, I guess. I always thought it was Corona. Super Duty loppers. And I think they probably weigh 5 pounds, maybe 10. They probably weigh 15 by the end of the day. And here are the gloves that I use, right here. These are fairly worn out now, but they came with a plastic or a urethane type of coating on them. And I was complaining, I put a little video together just prior to this one about complaining about things. And I forgot to mention the gloves here. These gloves have been a lifesaver to me. Not a lifesaver, but a very practical tool to have. I was looking for a pair of work gloves, and I went into Lowe's in Connecticut, and I asked the guy, and he says, we don't have that many, we're out of stock for most of them, but we just got this batch in, 10 pair for $10. And I bought those 3 years ago, and I still have some. The reason why I'm bringing this up is, my mouth is very dry, is that I was complaining, making that complaint list yesterday or the day before, crying like a baby. And I meant to bring up the gloves. Again, I got these for nearly nothing. They were a gift from God, I believe. And every once in a while, I'll go to throw a branch and it'll get caught on the fiber and I'll get upset with it. My goodness. I paid $1 a pair for the gloves and they've been wonderful. Anyway, so here we are. This took me, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes to gather this pile, and it's fairly heavy. I'm not a weak guy, but I'm not a strong guy. Well, I'm a strong guy, I should say. And it's, you know, it takes some energy to pull it, so it's actually a little light. But here I am now. I'm at about 85 feet here, and I'm going to look over the other side, and you can see how I cleared it away. Some of the pitfalls as you clear these things, every little stick, every little branch that you cut, every little stump and stem that's coming out of the ground trips you up. As you pull the branches out that are covered in foliage, you can't see, you back up, you trip over another. I've been of the belief for the last 45 years that you never climb on somebody's freestanding stone wall. There's no mortar holding them together, so every time you put your 100, 200, 300 pound body on them, you're dislodging some of the stone. So every pile that I put together, I have to now walk all the way up and around, and when I'm ready to pull another one down, walk all the way around again. Having an additional piece of property truly is wonderful. I guess it keeps me younger than I really am. But there's a lot of work that comes with it. I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video, but I've been coming up here now since 1987, I think. There's not a day that goes by when I'm here that I don't put in at least 3, 4, or 5 hours worth of work. So the next time somebody says they have an additional piece of property and you think it's just a wonderful thing, and it is, truly it is, but there's a lot of sacrifice that goes along with it. I wish I had something to drink. My mouth is completely dry. When I do this work, I take an antihistamine that just works wonders from keeping my allergies at bay. But here we are, Sunday, Independence Week, as I call it, rather than 4th of July. 4th of July is just a holiday, but Independence, a lot of work was involved in getting independence, a lot of sacrifice for that too. So I think I've covered everything. So until the next time. And let's hope for the return of the honeybees.